I want to start off this video by saying I thought it's common knowledge for everybody that most religions, if not all of them, are anti-feminism, are suppressing women, and are helping and feeding into the patriarchy. But a video of mine that I can insert here on IG went viral a few days back, and it made me realize that it's just not the case. And instead of trying to explain it to everybody in the comments, I decided that I'm going to make a video and talk about all the different religions and all that they do and everything that they believe in that is suppressing women. And when I started researching about that, I realized it is so much going on that I cannot possibly fit that into a video. So I decided that I'm going to make a video for every single religion, just try to prove that they are anti-feminism and they're suppressing women. The religion that I picked for today, drum roll please, it's Christianity. I am going to prove that Christianity is anti-feminism, it's helping the patriarchy, it is suppressing women. And the only thing that I'm going to use to prove it to you are the words of Bible. So tag along and let's see where this ends. Hi and welcome to the Good Girl Asylum podcast. I'm Murph the Goddess, but you can call me Murphy, and this podcast is for all the girls, the gays, and the days who are sick and tired of the patriarchy. We are going to talk about all things equality, feminism, and of course you can't leave out of spirituality. So if that sounds like it's right up your alley, make sure to subscribe and come along. I'm very happy to have you here. Before I start with reading the verses and talking about those, I want to talk about a defense that I saw a lot of Christian people write down under the comment section and try to defend Christianity and say that it is not suppressing women. And the defense was, if Christianity is so against women, then why do we have Mary as the mother of Jesus, and she is a holy person, she is important, and she's talked like very highly of? And to that I have a very simple question. If not her, then who would it be? Because the last time I checked, men cannot have children, like birthed children. They had to choose a woman, and they of course chose one who is a virgin. Self-explanatory. And she is known mostly for being the mother of Jesus, the relation to another man, and the fact that she was a virgin. And I feel like if that doesn't explain itself, then I don't know what else to say. I was searching and I was looking for different verses of the Bible where you can see very clearly that men and women are not seen as equals and it is suppressing women quite a lot. I am going to share with you 10 of them today because I didn't want this video to be super long. I didn't want this podcast to be super long today. If you're interested in seeing all of them, I can definitely make another episode and talk about it a lot longer. The first one is, the Lord said it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. I mean, starting off very strong, it is basically saying that women were created just because man was alone, was lonely, was bored. So we are created for them, in opposed to just being created. So it is immediately saying that we are inferior, that we are not equals to the man. I don't want to talk a lot about I will make a helper, because I know that a lot of people debate that that is not what it means. I'm not going to talk about that today. But setting that aside, it is basically saying that man was alone, I created woman to be with him for the man. Self-explanatory. The next one is, so the Lord caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. This is probably familiar. And while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and then closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of a man." This again kind of follows on the same thing that it was talking about in the last one. Basically, it is created for a man and is created of a man. And this immediately, like, if you think about it, people can completely talk about it in a way that men own women, in terms of, like, I see a lot in like Christian like marriages that man is always like superior to the woman, and it's because I have made of the flesh of a man, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's very explanatory. Actually, a little sidebar, if you have been watching Love is Blind and you watched the last season, there is this couple, I don't remember the name, but they actually were like the dream couple, and they are super religious. In the wedding, she says it that I am from your rib, and to me that is very, like, I don't know, I feel like that says it itself. Next one. To the woman he said, I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. This again is something that is like has caused a lot of debate, that before Christianity, women were not allowed to like use epidural. Even now, some people who are very religious don't, because it is believed that women are supposed to have pain during childbirth. And another little sidebar, I don't have any proof of this, but I saw this in another video and I really want to talk about it. And they were saying that when they say that they burnt the witches, they were midwives and they were helping women give birth without pain. And they believe that women should have pain, and that's why they killed them. It's just something interesting that I read. I have no proof, but I just wanted to add that because I think it's very interesting. But yeah, it basically says that we are supposed to have pain while giving birth because we are the first sinner, and we are actually shown as the sinner a lot more than the man. And kind of to like become innocent again, I guess. Yeah, whatever. And he will rule over you. Again, it's showing very obviously that a man, especially a husband, is superior to his wife. Very obvious. Next one. But I want you to realize that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is a man, and the head of Christ is God. Every man who prays or prophesies with his head covered dishonors his head. But every woman who prays or prophesies with her head uncovered dishonors her head. It is the same as having her head shaved. For if a woman does not cover her head, she might as well have her hair cut off. But if it is a disgrace for a woman to have her hair cut off or her head shaved, then she should cover her head. A man ought not to cover his head, since he is the image and the glory of God, but woman is the glory of man. For man did not come from woman, but woman from man. Neither was man created for woman, but woman for man. So it says here very, very specifically that woman was created for man. This alone, everything else aside, proves that Christianity is suppressing women, is saying that women are worth less than men, they are inferior, they are made for men, they are there to please men, they are there to carry men's children, and nothing more to it. And I mean, about the covering of the head, I feel like I don't need to explain anything. It's very, very self-explanatory. Next one. Wives, submit yourselves to your husband as is fitting in the Lord. And then it says also, because I don't want people to use that against me and say that I cut off the verse, husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. I want to add that. And a lot of people are going to use that and be like, see, it's telling the wives what to do. And it's also telling the man what to do. Like, it's telling the man that you need to love your wives. See, it's not anti-feminism. It's telling both of them what to do. Well, listen to the way that the words are said. Listen to the way that it's being told. Wives, submit yourselves to your husband. And then it says, husband, love your wives. There is a very, very different way of saying them. It is, again, focusing on you need to submit yourself. You need to be submissive and you need to be inferior and you need to think that your man is better than you and is higher than you. And then, of course, then it tells the man, oh, do not be harsh with them. If you think that is canceling the other thing out, I don't know what else to say to convince you, to be very honest. Likewise, teach the older woman to be reverent in the way they live, not to be slanderers or addicted to much wine, but to teach what is good. Then they can urge the young women to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled and pure, to be busy at home, to be kind, and to be subject to their husbands, so that no one will ruin the words of God, basically. Of course, there's some things here that's like not necessarily bad. Yeah, right. Don't be addicted to much wine. I'm not gonna say anything about that, of course. But it's interesting because then they are supposed to go ahead and teach younger women to love their husbands and children. That is all that is going on in the Bible about women. Love your husband, love your children, love your family, provide for your family, have that family, or otherwise there is no worth to you. There is no worth to you as a person unless you have a husband, you have a family. That is it. That is all that it is to it. Control themselves and be pure. That is the highest level of compliment to a woman in Christianity, or honestly most religions. Be pure. What is even pure? I don't understand. Why is it used 90%, 99% of the time towards women? Be pure. And subject to their husbands again and again and again. Subjects to their husbands, their fathers, their brothers. I don't know. Yeah. Moving on. A woman must not wear men's clothing, or a man wear women's clothing. For the Lord your God detests anyone who does this. I don't even know. I am left speechless. First of all, I have a genuine question. Like, if you're religious and you're Christian and you're watching this, I kind of doubt it because you probably are already pissed and scrolled, but I would like to know. Do you genuinely believe that God, who created the whole universe, is going to come on earth and communicate to a person and tell them that men shouldn't wear women's clothing and the other way around? Like, do you think that God, who created the whole world, has time or energy or even cares about that? I would really, really, really like to know what do you think about that? And then again, like, it goes to the same thing. Like, it is anti-feminist. It is. If you don't know why it is anti-feminist, I guess I can explain it in the comments, but I feel like it's very like obvious. Next one is quite long. There is quite a lot of things going on. I want to talk about the marriage violations. There are different things, but I want to read them all together because I feel like all of them are very, very obviously treating women like subjects. Not subjects, what the fuck? Objects. They're very much treating women like objects, even though some of them may not seem that bad, quote unquote. Let's start. If a man takes a wife and after sleeping with her dislikes her and slanders her and give her a bad name saying, I married this woman, but when I approached her, I did not find proof of her virginity. Oh my goodness, help me. Okay. Then the young woman's father and mother shall bring to the town elders at the gates proof that she was a virgin. Her father will say to the elders, I gave my daughter in marriage to this man, but he dislikes her. Now he has slandered her and said, I did not find your daughter to be a virgin, but here is proof of my daughter's virginity. Then her parents shall display the cloth before the elders of the town. And the elders shall take the man and punish him. They shall fine him 100 shekels of silver and give them to the young woman's father, because this man has given an Israelite virgin a bad name. She shall continue to be his wife. He must not divorce her as long as he lives. God, give me patience. Okay. First things first, virginity. If you don't know by now, please search it up. Please find, there are so many ways. Like, first of all, you cannot, as a fact, prove that someone is a virgin. Okay, you cannot do that. Second of all, let's say that exists. There are a lot of ways that a woman can lose her virginity. That is not sex included, intercourse included. That is another thing. But if we even say that exists, that's another thing. So starting from there, and then saying that they have proof of the clot. Again, we talked about, first of all, not everybody does have the hymen. Not everybody is going to bleed. And also, if you're, like, example, riding a horse, which is a very obvious one, but there are so many different ways that you could lose your hymen, basically, quote unquote, virginity. Then she would not bleed. Then in this scenario, she is lying, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is that they have to go and discuss a woman's virginity. I mean, that alone on its own to the eldest. Damn. Again, it goes back to the fact that a woman's body is not a woman's body. A woman's body is her dad's until she gets married, and then it's her fucking husband's. That's it. It's not a woman's body. She does not have control over her fucking body. Like, how else do you want me to prove it to you that it is suppressing women, it is anti-feminism, and is feeding off the patriarchy, and is very, very, very misogynistic, okay? I am yelling, I'm sorry. I am pissed. Yeah, and then, yeah, okay. He's gonna be punished, and he is going to fine and give money to the dad. So then again, the woman in question is not getting anything for the fact that this man said anything or whatever, right? She's being disrespected, she's being whatever. She doesn't have a fucking say in any of it. She doesn't. She shouldn't have a fucking say in any of this. The money goes to the fucking dad. And then the worst of it all, he cannot divorce her. He cannot divorce her. So she has to live with him until they leave, basically. That's what it says. Moving on. If, however, the charge is true and no proof of the young woman's virginity can be found, she shall be brought to the door of her father's house, and there the man of her town shall stone her to death. She has done an outrageous thing in Israel by being, while still in her father's house. You must purge the evil from among you. Yeah. Yeah. And again, there are so many proven ways that a woman's hymen can like be torn. That is not through intercourse. Some people are born without it. And in simple words, virginity is not a thing. It doesn't fucking exist. It's just something else to control women and suppress women. And that's it. And considering that, let's see how many fucking people who haven't even had intercourse would have died out of that. You know what I mean? Let alone even if they had sex with someone other than a marriage. Wow. Oh, God, goodness gracious. Moving on to the next matter, which is still like a kind of continuous of this. So I'm kind of counting them all together. But yeah, it's like if a man is found sleeping with another man's wife, both men who slept with her and women must die. You must purge evil from Israel. If a man happens to meet in a town of a virgin pledged to be married and he sleeps with her, you shall take both of them to the gate of that town and stone them to death, the young woman, because she was in a town and did not scream for help. This is a wrong wording because it actually doesn't say sleeps with her. It says rapes her. And then they both get stoned because the woman was in a town that she was going to be married and did not scream for help. And the man because he violated another man's wife. Another man's wife. Do you understand the wording? If it's not that the man violated another woman, it's that the man violated another man's wife. That's all there is to being a woman in Christianity. A man's wife, a man's daughter. That's it. But if out in the country a man happens to meet a young woman pledged to be married and rapes her, only the man who has done this shall die. Do nothing to the woman. She has committed no sin deserving death. This case is like that of who attacked and murdered a neighbor. For the man found the young woman out in the country, and though the woman screamed, there was no one to rescue her. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her, and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives. I want to read that again. Because it's so painful, and I just want anyone who watches this video to realize how much it is suppressing women and how much it is helping the patriarchy and is disregarding women and who they are and their body and their freedom and anything. If a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married and rapes her and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her, and he can never divorce her as long as he lives. In a religion where it's told to women to marry their rapists, how fucking can you come on the social media and fight people and say that no one knows anything about Christianity and that Christianity is supporting women and it's helping women and it's giving women freedom and it is very much helping feminism and it's not misogynistic? Do you know anything about your own religion? That is my genuine question. Do you know anything about your own religion? Did you know that? Did you know that if someone, based on your own religion, if someone rapes you as a woman, you have to marry him? Okay, moving on. I also want the women to dress modestly, with decency, adorning themselves not with elaborate this has to be a joke. Not with elaborate hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothes, but with the good deeds appropriate for women who profess to worship God. Do you genuinely, I am asking you this question one more time, do you genuinely think that God, who you're saying that made the whole universe, like we're in agreement with that, God made this whole world, cares so much about you and your hairstyle? I genuinely, like, this is such a genuine question. Like, it's so, I just cannot understand that. It is very obvious. It's made from men for men. It is so obvious because no one other than a, you know what? I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. I'm just, just like food for thoughts. Think to yourself as a woman. Do you genuinely think that God, who made this whole world, cares about your hairstyle? The last one, thank God, because I need a glass of wine after this, or five, because this is too much. Last one. A woman should learn in quietness and full submission. I do not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man. She must be quiet. For Adam was formed first, then Eve. And Adam was not the one deceived. It was the woman who was deceived and became a sinner. But women will be saved through childbearing if they continue in faith, love, and holiness. This is why we are told that we should be quiet, that women talk too much, that women are loud, that we are not allowed to complain. When we complain in the society nowadays, we are told you complain too much, you expect too much, you want too much, you talk too much, you're too loud. This is the reason. And if you think that this is not affecting all of the societies, you're wrong. Think again, because this has been told to people over and over and over and over and over again, that people are just going around saying these things, feeding to the patriarchy and saying things that are misogynistic without even knowing where they came from. Women are supposed to be quiet. Women are supposed to be there only to have a family, to serve their husbands, to raise their kids. And that's fucking it. If they want to learn, okay, they can learn, but they have to learn in quiet. They have to be submissive when they learn. They cannot be teachers. They cannot be superior to men. Why do you think we live in a society where a woman can be president? You know? Women are not supposed to be there. We're supposed to be quiet. This is in our every single day, daily life. You're experiencing it. Some countries more, some countries less. We're experiencing this. That's all I have for you today. I am going to make more videos talking about different religions, and of course about other things, spirituality, of course a lot lighter things. I'm gonna teach you about manifestation and getting in tune with your dark feminine energy, and I'm gonna be loud, and I'm gonna be talkative, and I'm not gonna be submissive. If you watch this whole thing, I appreciate it. And yeah, tag along, make sure you subscribe, and I see you in the next one. Bye.